So we're going to come in with this chard and we're actually going to harvest it similar to how you would potentially harvest mesclun greens if you were doing that by hand. We've got all the new tender growth coming right out of the middle down here, and we're actually going to come in and cut all of the leaves off from this whole section, whether we're doing wholesale loose or bunches for market. We're going to kind of mow this whole area down, kind of put it into a pile, and then bunch from there. We'll toss aside the leaves that don't look good, and then we'll bunch the ones that do. That will ensure that we get really fresh, new growth, and we don't spend time deciding which leaf to harvest and which not to harvest. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to kind of harvest these guys really low so that only the new baby leaves are then kind of left, and I can kind of keep on mowing as I go. Boom. So then once I made sure that I've got all the colors, I can put my knife away into my pocket or in my sheath if that's what I have. And then I can come in here and have access to all the different colors as I come in and make my bunches. And we end up tossing some small leaves like this. It's kind of a sacrificial leaf there as part of making this the most efficient process that we can. I'll come in once I've got my bunch size, make my band, and get 3 bands around it. And then I can go to my bucket.
All right, so that's how Matt and EarthDance would harvest their vegetables, and it's clear why they're not making money on this farm. So an alternative way to harvest would be how we were trained by our mentors. And normally what we're doing is, as we're going through the field, every time we're actually making the plant, we're cleaning the plant right down. So the plant would normally look like this as we're going along and harvesting. And then what we're doing is coming along, we're just peeling off the outside big leaves. And usually if you time it right, you're going to be harvesting a couple leaves from every single plant. And so then you can kind of mix your colors as you go. Another technique would be, because bright light Swiss chard is not as sweet as the white Swiss chard, more the Ford Hook Giant style, that some people would plant only 1 row of rainbow chard in the center and 2 rows of white. And so then all you're doing is interplanting a few leaves of your rainbow into your white bunch. And that makes it a much sweeter bunch, and actually you sell more chard that way. But in this way, what we're doing is just harvesting the outside bigger leaves. We're going in for quality too, so it really depends on what your customer is looking for. So you can see here we've got some tarnished plant bug spots. So that in some people you'd want to not put that. Depends on also your market for holes. So this to me would be an acceptable amount of holes, a few. Even some of these bigger ones here, there's a few more holes. But people really just don't like, if it's shotgunned, is what I kind of say is that's kind of the standard. So again, going ahead, taking your outer leaves here, leaving your center rosette, and then just going along here, you can say we're taking those 2 leaves there, and then once we build that bunch, we're going to go ahead and then grab our rubber band, put that around, then take our knife, slice off the base, and then go right into the case. So in this, it's more of a system. You kind of got to maintain this. If you let your chard get 3 feet high and then try to do that, it's a lot more challenging because now you're dealing with lots of different sizes of the chard leaves. And you're also going to get a lot more disease. So I was working with one client, and they were having an incredibly bad case of leaf miner. And what was happening is they weren't harvesting, and so they're letting the plants get this high, which means the leaf miner could then just keep moving from plant to plant. And so if you keep them down like this, so only a few smaller leaves to harvest, your leaf miner, all those kind of bugs won't have a place to hide, and they won't be able to continue the life cycle, and it keeps those disease and bug pests back. So again, just like kale, you're going to want to line your bunches up. So 3 or 4 bunches one way, and then your next layer the other way. And so that also helps you keep track of the number of bunches per case. And when we're doing case lots, we always do the exact same amount per case. So we're always going to have 12 in a case. And that means that at the end of the day, you have 4 or 5 bins. You can instantly say 5 bins, I have 60 bunches.